More businesses are shifting to a 4-day work week. What once seemed like an impossible dream is now reality for thousands of workers in the U.S. and abroad.
At first, the thought of a 4-day work week was largely dismissed. Employers believe the schedule would lead to less productivity and therefore a monetary loss. But a number of experiments have shown that the opposite's actually true.
Yeah, so joining us now to talk about it is life and business coach Angie Wisdom. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Angie, there's obviously a huge mental health impact to working 4 days, but what are some of the other benefits that people are seeing?
I definitely agree with the information we have out there showing that when we have a little bit more of a balanced life, when we can tune into ourselves, we actually create more energy, which creates output and is going to be better results for the companies we work for.
Well, we have worked 5 days a week since the beginning. So why are we looking at the 4-day work week right now? Is this pandemic related or did that happen before this?
You nailed it. In one word, it's COVID.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of a taste of what it was like to have some balance, some time at home, time to do other things. And nobody wants to give that up. And I don't believe they have to, because we can get done what we need to do in a shorter amount of time.
All right, so can a 4-day work week actually benefit both the employees and the overall company?
I think it's going to benefit both of them drastically. I mean, look, employees are going to love having this extra time to tend to themselves, to recharge and regroup to come back to work refreshed. And employers, they're going to notice the results when these employees have a better sense of well-being, when they have more energy and the culture changes. Those results are going to pay large dividends.
So what do you think? Do you think it's going to be easy to make a change like this? Because there's got to be some different ways it works, I guess, depending on the industry, but depending on where employees are. Are there some ideas to help employers roll it out a bit?
It's not going to be a flip of the switch type of change. It is going to have a lot of work to redo and rework the things that we've lived with for a 5-day work week for years. So the first thing that I'm saying is that we're going to need accountability from both sides. Management is really going to have to lean in and lead their employees properly, set the expectations, and the employees are going to have to deliver on that. They're going to have to do things a little bit differently to make sure that they can meet the expectations of those employers.
So we already see some companies actually implementing this. So do you think every business can switch to a 4-day work week?
I'd like to hope so, but every business is really going to have to evaluate this on their own. You know, you take a bank, for example. We can't have the bank open for only 4 days a week, but we can certainly modify. We can put the employees on a 4-day work schedule and have them rotate out. But I mean, look, we make advances in all sorts of things. We can send rockets up into space. So I'm pretty sure we can figure out how to modify and get that 4-day work week for everyone.
Well, so do you think more companies will continue to make the switch so it eventually becomes the norm? And do you think that that's going to be the norm? Or do you think that it'll go back and forth and go between 5 days a week and maybe 3 days a week for some companies?
You know, we're going to need a trailblazer. We're going to need somebody to really kind of start this trend and say, oh my gosh, look at these results that I have. It's been the best decision I ever made for my company. Then more people are going to get on board. And as long as, like I said, those employees deliver and the employers see the results, I think it very well could become our norm.
Do you feel like didn't some of the big tech companies do that though already? But I guess that they're sort of in a different place because they've had a bit of a more flexible structure overall, haven't they?
They have, and we have to remember that the tech companies, sometimes what they do is they try to just condense the amount of work in a shorter period of time frame, but it's almost more overload. So these, 4 8-hour days, and we're going to make you work 10 to 12-hour days instead. And that's not the plan here. We need to put balance back in people's lives in order to get the better results for the employers.
Somebody comes in happy on a Monday. I think that'll tell you everything. That'll tell
might
you
cut down on sick calls. We had a story about sick calls going up. It might cut down on that. All right. Well, Angie, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
And to get more information or to see more of Angie's tips, you can follow her on Instagram or visit her website, angiewisdom.com.